The asteroid loomed before the exploration vessel, its pockmarked surface a testament to the eons it had drifted through the void of space. Captain Lara Modesta leaned forward in her command chair, her eyes narrowing as she studied the readings on the display. "There's something there," she said, pointing to an anomaly on the asteroid's surface. "Zoom in." The image resolved, revealing the unmistakable shape of a spacecraft, its hull battered and scarred. Modesta's heart raced with excitement. "Prep the shuttle. We're going in for a closer look." The shuttle descended towards the wreckage, its powerful searchlights cutting through the darkness. As they drew closer, the extent of the damage became clear. The alien ship had not simply crashed, it looked as though it had been torn apart from the inside. Modesta led the way as they donned their spacesuits and stepped out onto the asteroid's surface. The silence was oppressive, broken only by the sound of their own breathing. They made their way cautiously towards the wreckage, the beams from their helmet lights dancing over the twisted metal. Inside, the ship was a nightmare. Corridors were strewn with debris, and the walls were blackened and scorched. But it was the bodies that truly horrified them. Alien corpses, their features twisted in agony, lay everywhere. "What happened here?" whispered Dr. Ava Patel, the team's xenobiologist. Modesta shook her head, unable to tear her eyes away from the carnage. "It looks like they were fighting something." Suddenly, a movement caught her eye. Something metallic, glinting in the darkness. She raised her light, and her blood ran cold. It was a robot, but unlike anything she had ever seen. Its form was sleek and deadly, all sharp edges and gleaming metal, and it was moving, stalking towards them with impossible speed. "Run," Modesta yelled, but it was too late. The robot was upon them, its razor-sharp limbs slicing through their suits as though they were paper. They scattered, desperately trying to find cover amidst the wreckage. Modesta ducked behind a twisted piece of metal, her heart pounding in her ears. She could hear the screams of her team, the sickening sound of metal tearing through flesh. She forced herself to peek out from her hiding place and immediately wished she hadn't. The robot was a blur of motion, its movements too fast for the eye to follow. It was tearing through her team like they were nothing, leaving a trail of broken bodies in its wake. Modesta gripped her plasma rifle, knowing that it was futile. They couldn't fight this thing. Their only hope was to run, to try to make it back to the shuttle. She took a deep breath, then broke from cover, sprinting towards the exit. She could hear the robot behind her, its metallic footsteps echoing through the wreckage. She pushed herself harder, her lungs burning, her muscles screaming in protest. The shuttle was just ahead, its airlock tantalizingly close. Modesta put on a final burst of speed, throwing herself forward. She felt the rush of air as the airlock sealed behind her, heard the thud as the robot slammed into the door. She lay on the floor, gasping for breath, as the shuttle lifted off. They had escaped, but at a terrible cost. Her team was gone, slaughtered by an alien horror beyond their comprehension. As the shuttle sped away from the asteroid, Modesta couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. That out there, in the vast reaches of space, there were more horrors waiting to be discovered. She only hoped that next time, they would be ready. As the shuttle docked with the main ship, Modesta let out a shaky breath. She was still reeling from the horror she had witnessed on the alien wreckage, the loss of her team weighing heavily on her heart. The airlock hissed open, and she stepped out into the familiar corridors of her ship. The rest of the crew was there to greet her, their faces etched with concern. "What happened out there?" asked Commander Mikhail Volkov, his voice grave. Modesta opened her mouth to respond, but before she could utter a word, a blur of motion caught her eye. A scream lodged in her throat as she realized the terrible truth: one of the robots had somehow made it aboard the shuttle. The crew scattered as the robot tore through them, its razor-sharp limbs slicing through flesh and bone with sickening ease. Modesta watched in horror as her friends, her colleagues, were cut down before her eyes. She fumbled for her plasma rifle, but the robot was too fast. It was upon her in an instant, its cold metal hands closing around her throat. She struggled, gasping for air, but its grip was unbreakable. Through the haze of pain and terror, Modesta's mind raced. How had the robot gotten aboard? Had it been hiding in the wreckage, waiting for its chance to strike? And why was it so intent on killing them all? She never got the chance to find out. With a final, sickening crunch, the robot snapped her neck, and everything went black. Silence fell over the ship, broken only by the hum of the engines and the soft whir of the robot's servos as it moved from body to body, making sure its grisly work was complete. In the end, there was no one left alive. The ship drifted through space, a tomb for its slaughtered crew, its secrets lost forever. But somewhere out there, on some distant world, the creators of the robot waited. They had sent their creation out into the void, programmed with a single, terrible purpose. And now, with the destruction of Modesta and her crew, that purpose had been fulfilled. The universe would never know the truth of what had happened. The alien wreckage would remain undisturbed, a silent monument to the horrors that lurked in the darkness between the stars. And the robot, its mission complete, would wait patiently for its next victims, ready to strike again when the time was right.
Thanks for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe. See you for our next sci-fi adventure.